of April, but now it's the afternoon, and what I'm going to show you today is how to plant ginger. Now, ginger is very, very slow growing. It can be a little bit on the fussy side, but I'll go through all that as and when we come to it. Now, if you want to grow your own ginger, then you can either go down to a garden centre and buy a section of root, but sometimes they're a little bit difficult to find. But you can also go to the supermarket and just buy a chunk of ginger. Now, make sure that when you buy your chunk of ginger, it's actually got some little knobbly bits on which look like new sections of root growing. Now, I don't usually buy things from supermarkets and sow them because sometimes they have things sprayed on them, which is why I don't buy the garlic and plant that straight out, because sometimes it's had things sprayed on it to stop it from shooting and things like that. They could do this to the garlic as well, but to get rid of all of that, what you need to do is, once you've bought your garlic, chop it up into sort of sizable chunks and soak it overnight in warm water. Just soak it for about 24 hours or maybe longer if you want to. It doesn't really matter. And that water will help get rid of most of those pesticides. Now, once you've soaked it, then you can start planting it. Now, ginger doesn't like to get cold, so if you live in a very cold climate, I would suggest that you start it off inside the house. But down in the south of the UK, it's the beginning of spring now, so it's okay. The nights aren't that cold, so I can actually keep it in the greenhouse and grow it in the greenhouse. So let me show you how to plant your ginger. Now, ginger needs to grow it's best to grow it in a trough, because it doesn't need the depth, but it needs to spread. So choose your pot very, very carefully. Now, this is a great trough. I've actually put holes in the bottom, so make sure it's well drained. Now, it does like fairly rich soil. I've actually got Miracle Grow all-purpose enriched compost with this, because it just gives it an extra little bit of oomph. Normal multi-purpose compost will be okay, but this enriched one has just got a little bit more oomph to it, and will hopefully make it grow a bit quicker. So fill your container all the way to the top. And once you've filled the container all the way to the top, just level it off and give it a gentle pat down. Now, if we look at the bits of ginger that I've got here, this is a little growing tip here, this is a little growing tip there, and this one, it's actually quite tricky to see. I think there's either one there or there's one there. Now, all you need to do, if you're not sure where the growing tip is, I would say just guess, okay? Now, I've got 3, so I'm going to put one at each end and one in the middle. Now, you'll need to bury these quite a long way down. Remember, it won't go, the roots won't go down. They're rhizomes, so they actually go across and then up, which is why a trough is perfect. So this one I'm going to put in the middle. So just take some of the compost out of the trough and put this, I've left a little bit of compost for it to sit on, and just rest it in there just like that with the growing tip pointing up. And then what you need to do then is just cover it up with the compost and give it a pat down. Now I'm going to put this one here and I'm going to put this one here, and I'll bury those down as well. The compost needs to be between 1 inch and ½ an inch above the top of the ginger. Now once you've planted, you've buried your ginger, all you need to do then is give it a nice water. Now hopefully in about 3 to 4 weeks time I'll start seeing little shoots poking up through the soil, which will be great. Ginger is something that takes a long time, so it's a big investment. You'll be ready to harvest the first of your ginger in about 3 to 4 months time, but see how it goes. You can just take little bits off, but it's best to leave it for about 8 to 10 months. So it's the beginning of April now, so I'll most probably be harvesting it at the beginning of, well, sort of around Christmas time, I suppose. When it starts to get too cold out in the greenhouse, then I will have to move it inside and keep it on a windowsill. But do be very careful that when you put it inside, it will get very, very hot and it will actually dry out quite quickly. Central heating will dry it out, will dry the soil out. So it's always good to kind of spray it with water on a regular basis. But when I come to do that, I will show you, and I'll keep you updated with how it's going to get on. I mean, ginger is very cheap to buy. So it is something that, you know, sometimes you think, why would I bother? It's the first time I've ever tried to grow it, and I just want to give it a go. I mean, if you don't have to have a pot this big. If you buy a chunk of ginger and you just want to grow one little bit in a fairly sizable pot, then fine. If you don't want to try it at all, then I completely understand. But I just thought I would give it a go and let you know how to plant it and how it gets on. Well, I will keep you updated on the progress of the ginger, and fingers crossed it will grow, because I use it anyway quite a lot in cooking, and it's a lovely thing just to give a little bit of a kick to some dishes. Well, I hope you found that interesting, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.